Hello, welcome to Tiffany Teach Tuesday. I am here to discuss some of the laws that have changed in the real estate industry and how does that directly affect you as a buyer or seller. And it's a nationwide change. So, in for the past few years, the National Association of Realtors have been fighting a class action lawsuit against them placed by buyers. And the reason this lawsuit was drawn is because buyers felt that if they had more say so in how much their broker commission was, they would be able to get a better price on their home. That's the first issue. Second issue, there's buyer brokers out there and seller brokers out there that are not doing their jobs effectively and efficiently. It is our responsibility as realtor to represent our clients and give them our best value we can give to them for what they compensate us for. We do not work for free. It is a industry where we show you homes, you pick one and you buy it. And in turn for you paying us to help you select a home, we are supposed to do our due diligence and give you the best quality of service. And as a broker, a realtor in this industry for 24 years, I will say that there are some brokers out here is why we got sued. And I've seen it with my own eyes, them not doing their jobs effectively and efficiently. People want all the business, but they don't want to put in the work to get the money. One, if someone sells your home and they put it on a lockbox, then how are they really selling your home? They don't do open houses. They just smack a lockbox on it, and then they expect the buyer's broker to bring them out to represent them to sell the home for them. That's the way that the sellers, I've seen a lot of seller brokers operate, to the point that when I have listings, brokers get offended when I tell them my property is not on a lockbox and I'm coming there to show it to them. That's what I'm supposed to do. Secondly, buyer brokers don't, and sometimes it has to do with being part-time in the industry or just trying to meet everybody's needs and not having a system in place and a schedule designed, have been known to send their clients out without representation, but they want a commission check. So if you send someone that you're supposed to represent to come and look at the home with the seller broker, and they have been guilty of passing out lockbox codes as well, then you're really not representing them efficiently. I've heard brokers say that they're not going to show their client a property because the commission isn't high enough. That's not fair either. Because let's get this clear. In like 2000, I may say 3 or 4, I started requiring buyers brokers agreements with my buyers. And the reason being is because I got burnt by a family member that made me look at things differently. With a buyer's broker agreement, I tell you, this is what my commission is that I'm expecting for the sale of this property that you're purchasing. Typically in the old law, because come effective August 1st, everyone across the nation will be operating off this. There will no longer be a buyer cooperating brokerage agreement, which how it works. Even though I have an agreement with you, the seller broker has negotiated with the seller to pay out of the money that you pay and pay your commission to you versus me getting it directly from the buyer. So let me make this clear. The buyer has always paid the commission, which most people, I don't know why they think the seller was paying the commission. It comes from the monies that the buyer gives the seller to pay the commission. So if we're going to use an even number, $100,000. The house is selling for $100,000, and the commission off the $100,000 is 2% to the buyer's broker that you agreed to pay the buyer's broker. Then I will get at closing 2% of that sale, which would be $2,000. And it came out of the $100,000 that you had. So when I would talk to my clients, I would make that clear to them. Like when they asking for assistance with closing costs, I say, you do understand this is your money that you're asking them to reduce your price to help you pay your closing costs. So the seller is losing money in this transaction. Well, with the new law, now you can negotiate what you could have done in the past, negotiate your commission that you want to pay to your buyer's broker. Now, if the buyer broker has agreed, the seller's broker has agreed to give you 2-3% commission, whatever they agreed to pay on to the buyer's broker for bringing them a buyer, then I will get my 2%, and I still get an extra 0.5% or 1% from the deal as well, because there is a cooperating agreement that the seller says, hey, if we get this price and they're willing to pay us this, they broker for helping them with the transaction, out of these funds, we'll pay them this X amount of percentage. So the problem has come that a buyer felt that he or she didn't do their due diligence in the sale, and they shouldn't have received this 2%, 2.5%, 3% commission out of the funds that they paid the seller for the home, because they could have got the house for $80,000 instead of $100,000 if the buyer's broker was getting paid a less amount of commission. And let me explain how this has worked on my behalf as well. I have had contracts where when the appraiser came back, the appraiser value was less than what the home was being sold for. And the seller was like, oh, I'm not taking this loss. And I asked my clients, how do you want to proceed? Because I'm willing to reduce my commission that I am paid out if you really want this home. And that's only if the seller broker makes the same amount of money that I do, because I'm the one that's doing all the legwork on the buyer side, and I feel I have done my due diligence to receive the amount of commission that I have requested from my buyer. But if my client is wanting to purchase it, if the seller broker reduces his commission because he didn't do anything, because he wasn't even there to show the house. But I'm willing, whatever you worked out with you and your seller, that's your thing. But it's not going to affect how I get my bottom line. You're not going to make more money than me on this deal. But for my client, because of my relationship with my client, I'm able, and we can negotiate a lesser commission. But I do my job for what I asked for. But I have seen in practicing in this industry, people who have not done their due diligence, is why we were sued and why the law has changed. So now, when you enter into an agreement with the broker to buy a home, the same way that you have to enter into agreement to sell a home is now required on the buyer's side in Illinois. Other states have different laws. So speak to your broker in your state if you're viewing from another state to see what your laws require. But it has to be something in writing. We can no longer have a verbal agreement on us having a relationship, which I never did anyway. After being burned, I have it in writing. This is what I expect to be paid. Some brokers ask for retainers to get them started, because you all have to understand, we don't get paid until the deal has closed. So I may run you around and show you 50 houses, and before I actually get a contract, that's gas. Gas is $5 a gallon, depending on what kind of car you drive and where you live at. So we have to be sure that we're going to be compensated for our energy. And I have had people who have done business with other brokers and say, you know what, I don't like how they're doing business with me, or my cousin just got her license, so I'm gonna go over there and work with them. And then that's fine, you can do that, but you're gonna pay me something for breaking this agreement. And I typically try to do maybe a 30-day agreement, because sometimes I want to get a feel, and depending on the client, I may only do a week agreement, because just like you may not want to work with me, I may feel suspect about you and may not want to know if you're going to really be a good fit for my brand and what I do, because all money is not good money to me. But I am willing to It's a negotiation of any contract. We can negotiate, but I can also tell you and explain to you the added value I bring as a broker to help you get this home and ensure that you get the home of your choice. But I'm not going to do all the work for pennies on a dollar, because my time is money, and I can make money with other clients who benefit, who appreciate what I've added value that I bring. So when you're selecting a broker to buy or sell your home, do your due diligence. Ask them what is it, their value that they're adding to you to help you purchase a home or sell your home, so that you know that you're getting paid. You're paying what you're getting what you're paid for. So with that being said, you have to make sure and ensure that your broker represents what you're looking for, and also be certain, because a lot of times I have shown people homes and we end up counseling our relationship because they really don't want to buy a home. I think they just watching television and thinking it's fun because they have the pre-approval, but they really don't pull a trigger on anything. And let's understand this. There is no perfect home. It's always something that can be added or taken away or done or changed. And your perfect home may not even be in your budget. So you can make your home perfect over time. And so when you're looking to purchase a home, you need to really decide and determine what is important to you, that is a must-have, and the things you're willing to compromise on at a later time. So I'm going to give you an example about a client I had. This client had to have a finished basement because they thought basements were creepy. The client had to have at least 2 bathrooms. And they would like a garage. They wanted a garage. Great. So I took them to see it. I only took them out twice to see homes before they put a contract on the homes. The first group of homes that I took them out to see were homes that they picked and selected, so I can get a feel of what they wanted. They was between the city and the suburbs. So I took them all around the city, all around the suburbs, all of these homes, and showed them the houses from good to bad. So at the end of the day, we ended up finding a home for them that was everything they wanted minus a garage. And I explained to them a garage can be built. There's space to build a garage, but you cannot get these other things that were required for you in the price point that you were looking at in the area that you wanted at this price point. And they ended up closing on a house and enjoying the house and loved the home. So, but your broker has to be knowledgeable enough to know how to help you, as well as I have had people who wanted to sell their homes and they were being unrealistic with the selling price. Yes, you may have put $300,000 in your home. That's why it's important not to do a lot of upgrades and modifications to your home above the area's selling price, because if the homes in the area are not warranting that amount of upgrades to be able to be sold at the highest value that you can get in the area, you're going to lose money on your home. So it's a lot of things that we can help you with in understanding what it is to buy and sell a home, and explaining why we should be paid what we're being paid for these transactions. So I hope that this has helped someone. I will be back on the 3rd Tuesday of the next month of July to give you more information. I don't know exactly what I'm planning to discuss. It always happens to be something that's changing. So that's why I don't put up a topic ahead of time, because I don't know what is happening in the industry, because it's a forever changing industry, and people call with questions and concerns about things that's happening in the industry that I feel is important for you all to know. But this was something very important that I thought that I should communicate. So when your buyer broker tells you that they have to sign a contract to work with you, believe them, or you would just be out here by yourself. And I can tell you, being out here by yourself, I know I have to go to bat for my clients. I have to argue and negotiate sale prices, do comps for them. And those are things that It's easier for me to do because I have experience than it would be for yourself. And it's things that you just don't know, especially as a first time home buyer. If you're more seasoned, maybe, but a first time home buyer that you just don't know, shopping by yourself for yourself. It's a lot of tricks that have been played and done to individuals by people in the industry because they're experienced. That's why they know what they know, and you don't, because that's not what you're experiencing. It's just like being a heart surgeon and saying, you know what, I can fix my own heart, and seeing how that works for you. Again, thank you for tuning in again to Tiffany Teach Tuesday. I hope that you learned something, and have a great day.